Welcome back to In the Room, where culture meets Hollywood, and we talk about the conversations the industry is having behind your back out loud. Because somebody got to do it.
Is that going to be your hook forever, or like we're
You don't
early,
like
like
it?
because no, it's
You don't
not that
like
I don't
it?
like it. I think that it's good. And also, we're early, so I think we could experiment with some
That
more.
was
I
that
just
was a
don't.
little
I don't want you to
remix.
get boxed in. I don't want you to. I
That
want
was
you
a
to have
little.
your
I freaked
freedom.
it a little bit. I freaked it a little bit. But I mean, we can
Okay,
tell.
good.
Which, I mean, I don't know. We're figuring this out as we go. But this episode we want to talk about is titled "We Made It." They monetized it, and we're gonna be talking all about
Yeah.
ads. We don't have advertisers yet, so this episode is not, hint hint, a ploy for us to bring advertisers into our
No, listen.
space.
This is not a ploy for us to get advertisers, and I do believe that once we kind of get in our groove, once we get our flow, there are some brands and there's some advertisers that I would love to possibly be able to do some business with, but I do want it to be something
That makes
yeah, I'm gonna say
sense.
organic,
Mm.
right? Like like a good fit. Like I don't think we're a good fit for
I was gonna say, who should we
fathers'
not do it?
rights. Well, like
Fathers.
seeing like yeah, one of the things I've watched, one guy's like he's fathers' rights, and then there was a man.
Is that like a child, like father's rights? What's that? Like
Well, yeah, it's like because apparently there are men out here who are having children
child
with
support?
women, and
Oh, is
then
that?
yeah, and then the people get mad at each other, and then the guy needs help because whatever he's doing and however he's doing it, this woman is holding the kid. I'm not going to say hostage, but she's using the child as leverage, and
Oh,
and so
like
they
in a
got a whole guy
divorce.
got a website where the guy goes, "Can y'all help me talk to her?" Because so that's a website or a service. We're not going to be promoting that. And then there's another one. There's a cosmetics line for men, uh, and I forget what the name of it is. No, I know exactly what the name of it is, but I'm not going to say it because
Okay,
I do cosmetics. I do some.
you do. You
You
do a
do I
little
have
touch
do I have
up.
nice skin? Do I?
You look like you might have had a little powder on. I didn't know if that was a little filter, but that's just you.
Just a
That's that.
little.
Is that just you?
Yeah, I just look like this. I woke
Oh,
up like this.
okay, okay. I didn't know there were men. Well, I know men wear cosmetics when they're on camera and stuff like that. I didn't know there was like a
But you
whole
didn't know I woke up
movement.
like this.
I assumed. Assumed you woke up like something.
I woke up like this.
Okay. Oh, this is love it.
So yeah,
But
I'm in the like look, this is my new swaggy thing. Like I wanna be a old guy picture model. So if you want an old guy like me, but I'm like not
yeah, you don't look
this is
old.
everything's real. This is all me.
As they
I woke
thought
up
it
like
was,
this.
as if they thought
So
it was
if
fake.
when I get enough subscribers, I'm gonna try to get a deal. I'm gonna put my face on something.
I could see you advertising like a just for men. It's well, what's the beard thing where they like
Well, I brush. I brush my beard. So maybe if there's a company that makes beard brushes and that little
yeah, a
balm
little
that you
yeah.
put on,
There was that
some of
black
that
owned
I could be a,
company that did beards. I forget the name. It was like Bevel, I think it was I think it was
maybe
a black
yeah.
owned, yeah. I wouldn't mind a little lock journey, a little action, a little like
Little hair. I
hair.
use. I do
Yes.
have a couple of products that I regularly use. So if you like my hair and you're interested in knowing what those are, hair people, I could tell you.
No, I
And
need to
then
know that
maybe
because your locks always grew really fast, and then you would cut them off, and they would grow fast again. So I kind of
I've
do
been
need
I've
your
been
little,
blessed with fairly active hair follicles. They do all
which is a
right, my
blessing.
follicles.
Because some
Yes,
men
I'm
are
not.
not that lucky. So we don't need any
And
toupee advertisers. We don't need any.
I'm not that. It's all
This
the
is
real
all. It's all
deal, and
him. It's all
and
him.
it's as you can see, it's salt and peppery, gray. I'm not gonna go Smokey Robinson on y'all and jet black it out.
No, you're
if I
legit.
came
You're
on
legit.
here, if I came on with jet black hair one day, just like black beard,
I
would
would
you
be
say something or would you
terrified.
just
Yes, I would say something. Like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Would I
if I
say
did
something?
all that? All right.
But so, obviously the Super Bowl happened at the beginning of this month, and everybody was talking about the halftime show, which was great
Yeah.
and everything like that, the game being lackluster. And so while I was watching it, I found myself spending a lot of time looking at the commercials, and it was just so odd to me because I felt like every ad basically had a celebrity in it. I mean, they were able to get everybody in the commercial.
Right.
They had Octavia
Right.
Butler, Sofia Vergara, Lady Gaga, Trevor Noah, Spike Lee, Serena Williams. And it made
Yeah,
me
and then
realize
they had that
something.
one '90s that sitcom ad that had everybody with the AI
Yes,
young
the
version.
AI one. A lot of weird. Well, they said that wasn't AI. They said it was CGI, where they made everyone a younger version of themselves. But it did have some
Okay.
AI commercials too. But it made me realize something I hadn't thought about before. I'm like, are ads the only acting jobs that are like paying right now? Which brings to me,
if you Ben Affleck, you're paying.
yeah, I mean they pay it. Listen, the celebs are in these ads nonstop. And I've been seeing it for a while, but it really hit home for me in the Super Bowl. So is it just me, or the segment where we say what everyone in Hollywood is thinking, but nobody's saying out loud? Is it just me, or did commercials stop creating stars and they just started hiring them? Like, why are so many celebs in commercials? Like, there was a time when being a commercial could make you famous, and now, you got to be famous to be in the commercial. Have you've noticed that, right?
Well, and fame, but it can create, depending on how strong or what type of character or something you have in a commercial. Like I think his name is Dean. I think it's Dean Winters. I'm looking it up right now. Dean Winters. Yes, Dean Winters.
Hmm.
He is in which he's in these commercials, and he's always in an accident, getting burned up or shot or blown up or something like
Oh,
that.
that guy. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
the
right. Yeah.
what
What's
is
it's an
that? The
insurance commercial or
insurance
something.
commercial.
Yeah. So that guy, he's also in the Spike Lee in Highest to Lowest.
Hmm. It
Right. He
always
playing
comes
a
back to
cop in
this
that.
movie with
It's
you.
always comes back to Highest to Lowest, which I
It's
love.
okay.
So y'all gonna have to get over that. Dean Winters is in Highest to Lowest, and Dean Winters is popular or notable. At least people recognize
You
his
know his
face,
face, you don't know his name. Yeah.
right? But he was
When I
like,
would do.
remember when they had the guy? Can you hear me now? That guy. Remember they had him,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
He was that was a moment. So there, what happens with some of these actors is that they're actual, a lot of them actual, great actors with aspirations for film and TV and whatever else. But sometimes, to your point, commercials used to be a way in, or at least to kind of
Hmm.
get some footing while you pursued your other goals. And
Yeah, I think
sometimes,
State Farm guy, like State Farm guy, that's what we know him for. Flow from
oh,
Progressive, that's what we
you're
know
not
it
talking
for.
about Dennis Haysbert, are you? Or we still talking about the white guy?
No, you talking about
No, no, the Dennis
Allstate.
Haysbert is all state.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. No, we knew him before that, but
right.
we're in great hands
Yeah, I
with
know,
him.
right? You
but
got to do the voice, so you can't just say
we're in great
got
hands.
to have a
But the
voice
state,
for.
Jake from State Farm, like, I mean, I know
Oh,
he was a commercial actor. He's probably done some, but that he's everywhere, and it's specifically because he's been in those commercials. Flow from
well,
Progressive is
and to your
specifically because
point,
she's been in those commercials.
yeah, now because of I'm saying this, but you're talking about Gen Z and young millennials and maybe even Gen Alpha. Like vibes is a thing, right? So when I'm watching a commercial and I'm seeing, some a group of young kids dancing and everybody got curly hair and hey, look, there's a brown skinned one. Oh, that one's kind of yellow. Oh, that one might be
Hmm.
Asian. Right? Everything's like the Fast and the Furious, but everybody can dance and they're eating pineapple or something, right? And
Yeah.
so these commercials are less about seem to be less about creating, in some instances, these brand spokespersons, and more about creating an environment where you feel like you're a part of this brand community, right? And so that can't be the face of an individual. And what's happening, I think, online, to your point, in terms of the working, is that, yeah, if you got a podcast or a platform, your TikTok, your Insta, whatever else it is you got, and you got a ton of followers, what we learned from Kendall and Kim and all of them is like, well, why don't I just get 50 grand or whatever it is for putting your post on my stream and talking to my people? And now that's a more reliable, I think, version of accessing the audience, as opposed to putting Nia Long in a commercial and hoping that everybody likes her. A lot of people do, some people
Yeah.
don't, and other people, it may or may not matter. But when
Well, I don't
you
know if the
are on the
brands, I don't know if they know that because that's not what we're seeing reflected in the actual advertisements. Like when you look at like the Coca-Cola commercial with Tyrese on that bus, like Tyrese may have been known to someone, but to me that launched him. And when you look at
right,
what
because I didn't know
commercials,
him at that time.
you that launched him, that blah blah blah, yeah, that was it. And with the Pepsi commercials, they were always this big spectacle. Michael Jackson almost lost his hair with a Pepsi commercial. Britney Spears had one. Paris Hilton had that one big Burger King commercial where she's eating a burger, and you still see these commercials and you know exactly what they were, and they were moments. They were moments. Nowadays, a commercial has a celebrity in every 5 minutes. They're not moments anymore. There was not really many moments I felt from the Super Bowl where I was like, oh, I'm gonna be watching this commercial forever. We're gonna be talking
Yeah.
about this the way we used to.
Well, the
It,
other
it
thing. Well, here's, and I'm jumping in. I'm gonna keep doing this, and you're gonna be like, "Listen, man, would you quit cutting me off?"
You're
I'm
gonna
listening. I'm sorry.
apologize about cutting me off every minute.
I'm gonna do it. I'm just trying to be self-aware. But here's what happened.
He's
In a
trying not to get
nutshell,
canceled, y'all. That's what he's trying not to piss the women, the few women viewers we have off.
I support black women. I
We don't
mean,
want
I
them to come in the
literally
comments.
actually support. There's a portion of my income,
No, literally, he really
some
does.
voluntarily and some involuntarily, that goes to the direct support of women. And I have
Yes.
not complained of one iota about any of that. I'm just saying it as a matter of record. Don't cancel me. You need me.
Yes.
I'm useful.
He signs my
Uh,
checks, y'all. Don't cancel it. I need those. I need those checks.
Listen, so what's happening now? You know why are commercials not important? Because we're fucking inundated with ads.
Everywhere.
There's ads everywhere. You can't click on nothing. I'm on TikTok. Here's a fucking ad. I'm on Insta. Here's an ad.
TikTok
YouTube
takes
ad.
all my money. All my money. I see, for me as a consumer, I don't relate to a big celeb selling me something. I relate to an everyman showing me a makeup product, or oh, I took these skinny pills, and I TikTok shop has all my
Here's a
money for that
girl with a
reason.
body like me wearing a dress that I might wear.
Now I want that dress. Now I gotta have
Now I
it.
want that
If
dress.
I see Tiana Taylor in that dress, it's like, yeah, it looks great on her, but I'm like, it ain't gonna look like that on me. I need to see what it look like on me, the
Right.
equivalent
And
of
then you
me.
see a girl and she's walking back and forth in her apartment and she got a dress and she look a little bit, you like, oh, okay, that's what it's gonna look like. All right, give me one of those. Give me
Yeah, and
two.
there's not the money that's going into these Super Bowl commercials. That is what's actually working, I feel like, for the consumer. You could look at my cart. Like, that's what's working for me. When I look at advertisements, I feel removed from them. I don't feel
Yeah.
drawn to them. There was only one commercial that I felt, I mean, there were some that I liked, like the Adrian Brody TurboTax was funny. The Samantha Carpenter for Pringles was funny. Those were memorable, I guess. But my favorite commercial did not have a celebrity in it at all. It was the Universal Studios Little Bro commercial that was all about the sibling dynamics, and he follows the older brother, and the older brother is always like little bro and the little brother give him a noogie, like, you can't
Mm.
reach this, you can't catch the ball like I do. And then they go to Universal and they get on this roller coaster, and then all of a sudden the big bro is scared of the roller coaster, and the little bro gets the moment where he's like, you all right, little bro? Like, it was really cute. That I loved. And then also the Jesus commercials. Jesus has the best advertising team. I don't know who is behind them, but they are blessed. But every time Jesus comes, you ever see those Jesus commercials where it's like,
Now,
try
you're saying
Jesus
like Jesus,
Christ?
like Son of
Oh
God
yeah.
Jesus. So,
Yes,
so,
he has
so just to be clear,
commercials.
no, because I don't be watching. Like there's a lot of stuff I miss. So what you're telling me right now is that Jesus has commercials,
Jesus had a Super Bowl commercial. Did you
and
not
and
see?
and what does Jesus want you to do?
Try him.
Just try it.
Try Jesus. As
So here's my
opposed to
question.
sin, try Jesus. Like got
Now,
milk.
did Toby Nwigwe get did his song get on the Try Jesus commercials?
No, not the one that they did on the Super Bowl, but he has a lot of commercials that if you ever pay attention when you look at his Jesus ads, and we'll play one, you don't know that they're religious commercials. They're not like that's not that they're not giving that. They're actually really well done, and you don't realize until the very end, small print, try Jesus, and it's just like, oh. They had one where everybody was washing feet one year that was really kind of weird and kooky, and then that was that was it's like, why is everyone washing people's feet? Try Jesus. Great
Okay,
marketing.
so check it out though, because we're going to talk about this a little later. But I bring it up because when you say try Jesus, the what immediately comes to mind is are you familiar with Toby Nwigwe? He's a Houston
Yeah, I
rapper.
thought you were
The
about to
whole
say you.
minty thing.
I thought you were about to say you familiar with Jesus Christ. Yes,
No.
very, very much
You
so.
heard of Jesus? It's Son of God. He's
My
got a
Lord
whole
and
thing. He's
Savior.
got a
Yes.
yeah.
No, yes, I am familiar with Toby. I'm trying to be like, hold up now, hold on. Yeah, I know
so
him.
Toby had a short piece of music, and it was try Jesus, don't try me because I throw
Yes,
hands, right?
yes.
But the the piece of music was really really cool, and what it makes me wonder,
Mm.
did someone look at that and go, oh wow, that's actually really cool? And I don't know, whoever is behind the campaign, and ultimately, if that brings people back to the church, fantastic. If people feel the need to be, more Christian or loving or giving or compassionate as a result of seeing a commercial, that would be fantastic. It's better than shooting white ladies in the face. Um, because that's where we are. We're at the shooting white ladies in the face
And now you know the
stage
world has
of the game.
gone to shit if we shooting white people at all.
I'm just saying that the Try Jesus commercials have coincided with shooting white ladies in the face. These things are commensurate, and and so in that space, I'm just wondering if Toby unwillingly or unknowingly, served as some sort of inspiration
Inspiration,
for that
maybe.
as an idea, and we'll kind of get to that a little bit later. So back to, I didn't see it. The only commercial I saw was the sitcom stars commercial, and
Yeah, that was a
I know
little
a few of those
scary to
people, and
me.
it looked a little weird, and
Yeah,
I've seen a few of those people recently, and so it's just like weird me out, and I couldn't buy
yeah,
for
because I
them.
was like, who actually still looks like this?
Yeah, it's just like it was too
Not many
bizarre,
of y'all. Yeah, it was a little
little too
bizarre.
bizarre for
I
me.
didn't really feel like anything was super memorable, and it's just
Here's
interesting.
what was that commercial for? Do you remember what the commercial was for with all the sitcom people?
Wasn't it Dunkin' Donuts or something?
Yeah, it
Um,
was. It was Duncan.
yeah, that's what I.
Is
Yeah,
Was there anything about that made you go, you know what? I think I want some Dunkin' Donuts now.
no, no, and that's the thing. I feel like none of the commercials. Did the Pringles make me want to eat some Pringles because of the cannibalism of that commercial? Maybe. But like for the most part, no one really made me say, let me go out and buy this thing. The way that I feel like commercials like on TikTok do.
Right,
And it's
online and TikTok and whatever, it's like, oh, I'm a person who uses this thing, and here's how I use it. And if you want to be like me, you should use what I'm using.
yeah, and that's just like your everyman sort of testimonial sort of commercial, which gets me. But then black creators are taking it to this next level and they're making these really insanely catchy jingles that like feel more like the ads than the ads themselves to me on
Yeah,
TikTok. And
yeah,
so it brings me to the next question. Is it just me or are the best commercials happening on TikTok? Like there's a whole jingle movement happening on
yeah,
TikTok. And it reminds me so much of that Jamie Foxx show where his whole job was to make jingles. It's like we're back there, and it's like black creators are making these insanely catchy brand jingles. Um, the creator Romeo Bingham, she became an overnight sensation for their catchy Dr. Pepper jingle. Um, the Dr. Pepper baby. I'm gonna play it for us
you
so
can
we
play it.
can hear it. But it was just a simple commercial that just went crazy. I have a theme
Yeah.
song for Dr. Pepper, and it goes like this. Dr. Pepper, baby, is good and nice. Do. That's it. And
That's it.
they went crazy. Oh, then it's going on and
Doc,
playing all the
doc,
other ones
doc,
she's done. She
doc,
done with her
Dr. Pepper, baby,
baby. It's good
baby,
and nice. Do.
do do do.
And then they turned it into a commercial, so it did actually get that national commercial. It debuted few weeks ago, and there was so many people that went viral, and they were demanding for Dr. Pepper to pay her because it was just this catchy thing. And then it turned into something once people found out that, oh, she potentially got this. They're saying 2 million, that people are disputing that it may not have
Right.
been that amount, but it was a deal where she was paid because they actually licensed her raw audio, like the actual audio from
Right.
the TikTok,
Right.
to use in the commercial. And so then you started hearing all of these other ones that I have been obsessed with.
And now
I've been
everybody
singing
with
them.
a phone has got a
This one.
commercial.
Have you heard the Hidden Valley Ranch?
No,
This
what's it? Let me
one.
see this one.
Hot wings, not without you. I tell you, when
Wait,
I
wait, now
tell
what's
you,
that one for? That's for hot wings?
that's for ranch. That's for
Ranch dressing?
And then I saw, okay, so then they took that one and then they added production to it, and someone came in and they did melodies and harmonies, and it's everywhere. And Hidden Valley Ranch is like, yeah. So I was just like looking at Super Bowls. I know they're gonna have a wing commercial with this Hidden Valley Ranch song. I was waiting for it. It did not come. You had this other one that I just swore I was going to see for Sprite. That's the Hidden Valley Ranch, but he turned this whole Sprite into a boy band. Come on now.
All right, look at you. You having a moment.
This is good. This
Like
is
the
good.
The Sprite shit is hitting.
Yes. I'm like, okay, to me, these are better than what I'm seeing in the Super Bowl. Every single one of these are catchy. I've played them a ton of times. The music is used over and over again. And then you have producers like Justin Bernandez, which will add like music to it to bring it into another level. And then you have
Okay.
creators like Kesey's Captures, which is one that'll take the full ad and then make an ad. You'll see them actually creating
I see
the
a
ad
lot of that, like when
itself.
people will do something, and then these other musicians they'll all stitch like one
Stitch
thing
on
and
top of
create
it,
a
and it
piece.
turns
Yeah,
into this
yeah.
whole thing. And so everyone is able to capitalize off the original creator's work. And it's like, oh, I get my views over here because I added drums to it. I get my views over here because I harmonized with it. I get my views over here because I added, a nice ad to it. And at the end of the day, the actual company itself has a fully packaged ad that they spent zero money for. And so I'm like, okay, none of these ads ended up in the Super Bowl.
Well,
And I
so I
know,
have a question. Do you know the TikTok, the beans and bologna song?
no, please,
That was a good ad. Well,
please do
no, I bring it
explain.
up. I'm taking you off on an off ramp for a second. I know you don't particularly care to go off on these off ramps with me, but I'm fine. Hold on, let me see
No,
if I
I
can
need to know
find.
what the beans and bologna.
Oh, you gotta know beans
Fried bologna is
and
good though, actually. I haven't had it in a long
beans
time, but
and
that is like
bologna.
a really good,
Yeah,
I don't have a
there
lot
was
of
like an
money
old guy.
meal.
There was an old guy like in a mini mart or something, and
What?
uh, here's the guy. Please come home. I got beans and bologna. I'm sorry I made you cry. So they took that. They took, please come home. I got beans and bologna. And then the other people made songs out of it, right? With beats and the whole thing. And he just didn't, if he had said, I have Hormel beans
That'd have been
and
it.
Oscar Mayer bologna, he might have
Bologna.
gone viral. Because the beans and bologna song I think that's my favorite.
Really? I haven't heard that one. You're
Oh,
teaching me
you
something.
got to go check out Beans and Bologna. It's
Listen,
really
I think
like
we
somebody
got
should
two
hire
different
him.
algorithms. No, well, I
We
guess
do.
listen.
Well, mine has a whole
That's it.
black man on
That's
it.
it. Yes. You have two different algorithms. Okay.
Beans and bologna. He wants her to come home.
It
Please
was. I
come
felt the pain in his
home.
voice. The
I
pain
got
was there.
beans and bologna.
Listen, that sounds like a nice Friday night for
That's what he.
somebody. Beans
That's what
and
he's bringing to
bologna.
the table. He's bringing beans and bologna.
Well, hopefully she came home to the beans and bologna. But this Super Bowl is one of the most expensive ad spaces in the world. You got like $7
Yes.
million for like 30 seconds. And it seems like these brands want these big cinematic moments because they feel like that's going to reach like a broad audience. And I feel like for me as culture, I respond to jingles, the types of jingles that did not reach the big stage, like the stuff that
Yeah.
is on TikTok. For me, is more catchy. I remember, you remember Beans and Bologna forever. How long I've been singing this Hidden Valley Ranch song nonstop for weeks. I could not tell you what any of those commercials in the Super Bowl said, and
Right.
I doubt that anyone else could. And so I'm like, these brands watch these black creatives, their creativity go viral, and then they
Hmm.
capitalize off of it, but then they don't use it on the biggest stage. It's like they capitalize off of it because it's growing their audience base online. But if I don't actually put it in a commercial like they did with Romeo, I don't actually have to pay you. I could send you a little box of merch or something like that, show my appreciation. I could repost it, and for some of them, they're happy to just have the recognition. But it's like, you're making the moment. The brands are still making the money because the more people are talking about the brands, your song makes me want to go out and get some ranch and some wings. And it's like they're not hiring you to create the idea. They're just waiting for you to create it for free. It really feels very unfair.
Well, all right. So unfair is probably, I think, the wrong word, because none of these people are being forced to do anything,
That's true.
and you're also playing in somebody else's sandbox, right? So, right. If I come into the space of your corporate brand and I toy around with some shit that's valuable to you, clearly, and not necessarily so clearly valuable to me, then they have an advantage, right? It's useless to you to keep your beans and bologna song under wraps because, it's you. But if I decide to take your beans and bologna song and attach it to my beans and bologna, this is
Now
going to
it's
be a big
big.
fucking deal.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of understanding, if you're going to wade into that water and you're going to do these things, if you're lucky, or the way that the algorithm and the platforms work, maybe you'll get some notice out of it and it'd be really cool. It's like Keith Lee going around all the restaurants and trying out the food. He did the reverse. He goes in, gets food without them knowing who he is or what he's going to do.
Hmm.
And his monetization comes from reviewing the food and then saying, go to this place I liked. It's like Rotten Tomatoes or something. Right?
Hmm.
Rotten Tomatoes is just there to tell you whether the thing is good or not. But in the meantime, they run ads against that shit. And now they're making money by telling you about something else. And so Keith Lee's doing the same thing. Right? But when you're creating the jingle for the restaurant, and it's out in public where everybody can see it, and you're saying the name, that's the commercial. They could feel cool about you all day long, but if they want beans and bologna, they're going to get the beans and bologna. They'll be like, thanks for telling me about that, man.
Yeah.
And the sellers of the beans and bologna are like, that is fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I'll just pivot to Diddy for a second. One thing that he was very clear about was
Okay.
his value as a marketer and as a brand ambassador. And I remember seeing on one of his reality shows back in the day that somebody would hand him a bottle, and he's like, "I'm not holding that bottle. I'm not going to hold your bottle of vodka, because if I hold it, it turns into an ad. That's the value of my stamp of approval on your shit." Right? It's like when they did Pastor Cavassier. That was a fucking 3-minute jingle for a what, I don't know, what is Cavassier? Is that cognac or champagne? I don't even know.
Yeah, because remember they used to do that all the time, where rappers would wear a certain thing, and then we would all
My
get on it,
Adidas.
and then it was like,
My
oh, don't do it because they're
Adidas
not
is a
paying us.
fucking,
Yeah.
like, you just made a commercial that research and development would have had to have spent hundreds of $1,000s on several salaries and gone through a bunch of meetings to get you to do what you just did. And they didn't even know that it was a thing to be done.
So
They
this
didn't
has
know
been
you had that
happening
currency.
for a long time. That's just to piggyback off your point. We have it with social media now, but even with, I'm a rapper and I'm wearing Ralph Lauren, or I got the Carvassier bottle and or Cristal it was in all of my videos. That's
Right.
advertisement for free for this company. And then half the time, I think we would find out that the company did not even want to be associated with the audience that was
We've
now
heard
hype.
we've heard those
Yeah.
sorts of stories. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, let me create my own, because it's like, if I'm going to be advertising a certain liquor, let me create a Ciroc or something like that. So it's like they're coming. I hear a lot of noise. They're coming to me. And so it's just like, okay, so they've been sort of exploiting the creativity of Blackness for a while. And I don't know if exploiting is the right word or just maybe
Yes, that's the
profiting.
right word.
Okay, well,
Exploit is the
profiting,
right word.
exploiting and profiting off of it. Like if you look at what these TikTok creators are getting paid, creators usually on TikTok, they'll charge brands, maybe if they're charging them 1,000 per post for creating a custom jingle or for like some sort of like post or whatever, depending on how many followers they have. If they're using the sound, just the actual jingle sound, is 3 cents on average for every new video that uses that sound. And then through the creator rewards program, they can earn either 40 cents to $1 for every 1,000 views. So depending on the engagement. So if you have 3 million views, at $1 per, you're only getting $3,000 for that. Whereas they're paying Super Bowl ads 1 to 3 million or more for the ad
Right.
itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
Because they can, they can, I don't know, there's business affairs and lawyers and agents and
mhm,
managers. And when you're dealing content creation on that level, uh, the money that's being transacted is not just for the intellectual property itself, it's for sustaining the infrastructure and the business around it,
yeah.
right? So that's part of it as well. And so when they go to an individual creator or personality on TikTok or any one of these other platforms, what they are dealing with is a different metric. There's understood that there's some popularity around who they are and who they reach in terms of an audience. And when you start talking about whatever those rates are, to put your product on their channel or their platform, what some things that become important are like what's the engagement when people click? Are they buying?
Mhm.
Because everybody goes click this link so that they know you
You
bought because
came
of
from
me.
here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's the thing. You got to use this link. You got to use this code. You got to use this thing because if you don't use this, they won't know. So if we are to support our creatives in the community who are doing these things and who are able to make deals, then if we're being responsible consumers, it's helpful for us to know these are the ways we support the individual that we would like to see win as a result of this, and they have to know this is what I have to set up so that
Mm-hmm.
that can happen. And I only say that, and I'm a sidebar and then hand it to you because I know that you get tired of hearing old men talk a long time. Uh,
Sure,
Risa Tisa.
as long as you know.
So when Risa Tisa did "Why the fuck did I marry this guy?" or
Yes,
whatever
an
that was,
amazing series, amazing
right?
TikTok journalism.
And the point that I would understand later is that when she made those posts, she did it in earnest. She was just telling a story, having no idea how huge it was going to become. And she may have had some subsequent interest from studios, other creatives in Hollywood after that happened, because it is, some actionable IP. It is a great story. But there was money left on the table in the TikTok creator fund or whatever that world is, as I understand it, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that because she wasn't set up from the outset to monetize that content as it went viral and spread, she wasn't making any money off of that because she hadn't set it up properly. And TikTok is
Mm-hmm.
not incentivized to go, well, we'll pay you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They just go, fuck you too bad. Good luck next time. and then here comes Dr. Pepper Girl, and then she does her thing. Oh, whatever it is. When we be taking these memes and shit. What was that thing where everybody was on a boat sailing towards somebody playing Coy LeRoi or whatever?
I missed that one. Like I said,
I don't know. It was I
two
don't know. It
different
was black women.
algorithms.
There was black women was on a ship sailing towards something, and the Coy LeRoi song was playing. And I'm just all of these viral trends and these pieces of music and all these things as an audience and as creators is kind of twofold. There's this ecosystem where people are creating and consuming content in a vacuum. So it's creating an energy and it is driving interaction, and they're not profiting or benefiting from it. And fucking TikTok is winning.
Mm.
And these people, because they don't understand how they're fueling this, and also that they could be benefiting from it in some material ways. I'm just saying that it's an important time now to not be online and be ignorant about the fact that your mere presence there is driving commerce. And so you should probably understand how, why, what, and if it can be of value to you, if retaining it or holding it
Hmm.
back gets you leverage, or if leaning into it and putting something out gets you leverage. But in where the money is moving all over the place and this shit's all murky, it's like we just have to be more educated and intentional about the way we move through this space, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that we can help is we need to get some information out there so that they know how they can get paid for the work, how they can protect themselves, not just taking the merch box from the company and considering that
I'm gonna
payment.
send
And
you a box of fucking t-shirts or some shit. And
for
like
you
you
to
were
then
responsible for
re-advertise.
nah, yeah. I mean, like you fuck
Yeah.
around, you're responsible for $750,000 in sales, and it'd be like, thanks, here's a case of Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. Thanks for all your hard work. And you can come to the next commercial shoot or whatever the bullshit is they think you'll be impressed by. So anyway,
Yeah,
yes,
but so instead
continue.
of our traditional table read, we're going to phone a friend that
Phone
has some
friend.
insight from the ad industry to give us a little bit more insight
This a
on
friend of
how y'all can
yours?
get paid. It's a friend of the show.
Friend of
So,
the show.
so we're going to be talking to Jon Nettlesby a little in a little bit to give us some insight on like what these creators can do.
In reading Mike Ovitz's book about the genesis of the Coca-Cola commercial, Mike Ovitz said that he went to Quincy Jones and he asked Quincy Jones, I need a writer to write this theme for me. And Quincy said, okay, I'm gonna give you a twofer, Jon Nettlesby and Terry Coffey. Here we are sitting in Mike Ovitz's office, who, like I said, man, he represented, Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro and just shit, Columbia Picture. He represented everyone and everything, the writers, the studios, the directors, the actors, the musicians. Mike Ovitz was, at that time, the most powerful man in Hollywood, right? So
He was
how
that
are we even
guy.
in here? And then it was the challenge of everything, because the advertising world at that time, they're advertising houses, and Ali probably can tell you, Chicago is the jingle capital of the universe. So, you know, coming from that background, it was a shoe in for us, right?
Okay.
But again, against the competition, who would have ever thought, right? Who would have ever imagined that we would be capable? So that's the genesis of the whole thing was Quincy Jones. It's like an open call for a role, right? You
Mhm.
got a casting director, right?
So your jingle, your creation of your jingle was sort of like your audition.
Right.
The reality is that what you don't realize is that now you have become an R&D lab for marketing for
Hmm.
major corporations. This is what they pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do, is sit in rooms and try and figure out how to get somebody's attention.
Right.
And these people are sitting at home going, what if we put a boy band? And then they do a boy band Sprite ad, or they
Hmm.
do, somebody did some kind of restaurant, I forget the one you showed me, another one.
Yeah. They did a
And so I
Rock
think my
Hidden Valley
question is,
Ranch.
yeah, Hidden Valley Ranch. And so the question I think for you is, now that this thing that incubated, and you were at the very beginning of it, has now turned into people at home singing jingles, some
Hmm.
in the hopes of getting attention, but others not necessarily recognizing what the value of their work is. And so I think my question is, if you're a casual creator and you might stumble upon something valuable, is there a way to protect yourself, or is there a way to
Mm.
move forward and actually benefit from your creation? And if you're actually trying to break into the brand placement, it's like you get a
Hmm.
song and you get it placed in an ad, or you're trying to create a jingle. if that's what you want to do, is this the right or a good way to try to do it?
Okay, so twofold. We are in a social media era, right? And we're quickly
Mhm.
transitioning into an AI era, right? When we did this jingle at that time, traditional ad agencies were the ones that developed the jingles, the themes, right? McCann Erickson. Uh, so a lot of different agencies, again, Chicago, Tom Burrell, top black ad agency on the planet Earth, especially at the time. So, like you said, you mentioned the Tyrese thing. Well, Tyrese sang one word, always. He was singing on the bus, right? So, the general market, we won't say pop people, but the people of a different, were like, hey man, he's not even singing your jingle. All he's singing is one word. Is that gonna work? I said, yeah, in our community, that bald-headed black kid singing that one word, that is going to work. They put it out, he's on the bus. It went the equivalent today of what we would say going viral is. Because they
Yeah.
didn't believe in it at the time. They thought he's not even singing your jingle. What are you guys? You guys cool with that? And we're, oh yes, don't touch that. That Tyrese thing is going to, you have no idea what that thing is going to do in our community. Now we did other ones where there's a girls group and some other stuff where they sang the whole thing, but Tyrese just singing always, let that ride. Now let me tell you something about ad money, right? We were charging maybe $30,000 a track to do a song, right? In the advertising world, and think about this, you have a 60-second jingle, which is typically the initial release. You have a 30-second jingle, right? You have a
Mhm.
40-20, which would be 40 seconds of music and then 20 seconds of Coca-Cola at your local bottler, right? And in the frozen drink section, da da da, right? Then you have a 20-10. What we were doing was charging them for a 60-second commercial, a 30-second commercial. We were charging them what we would charge to do records for those spots. We truly had an unfair advantage in that we wanted to do all of the spots. We did Latin, we did Brazilian, we did, Italian. We went to Indonesia. Especially
Mhm.
when they found out that two black kids from Chicago wrote the global theme of the largest brand on we became goodwill ambassadors. So we went to Brazil, we're like I said, Indonesia, we're in Italy, we're everywhere, right? So we wanted to do all of the spots ourselves. Now, the unfair advantage that we actually had is that we're record producers, right? Jingle houses are using jingle staff guys who may be musicians, they may be good or whatever. They don't know the production side that we do.
Mhm. Right.
So when we would turn in a spot, it would sound like a record. The internet is the gift and the curse, right? Because the bar is so low now that things that would have never seen the light of day back in the day when we had gatekeepers, right?
Mhm.
When I started making records, there was people that told us, hey, don't do this like this, do this like that. I remember Jerome Gasper specifically, we're at A&M. We're young. We think we know every damn thing. So we wanted, 48 tracks. Jerome Gasper says anything that you can say, you can express in 24 tracks. Well, you know anything about audio, it's 2-inch tape. The 24th track is empty because it's actual physical tape with crosstalk. 23 has a little bleed from 20. So you got 22 tracks to make a statement. Compared to today, my home computer has 1,098 tracks. I have an endless amount of expression, right? We fought Jerome Gasper to protect our creativity, right?
Mhm.
Today, so the gatekeepers back in the day would say, if some kid in the hood wanted to say, gold all in my watch, nigga, 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 don't believe me, just watch, nigga, nigga, watch, now the record comes, hell no. The gift and the curse is Trinidad Jones can shoot a video of him riding a bike in the hood, some raggedy ass braids on, gold all in my what, nigga, and it's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
My booty hole brown, he took me to Pound Town. That would have never flown back in the day, but the gift of the internet is I can say and do whatever I want, and the more shock value that it has, the crazier that it will go viral.
Did you do subsequent placements of any music that you had composed that was just on a record or what have you? Did you have to negotiate those sorts of things for your, any songs that may have been used or licensed for ads subsequently in your career?
Well, I mean, not necessarily ads, because again, that ad house was a very closed house, right?
Yeah.
It's a secret society. It's cliquish. You got to be, to get in there it's not easy. That's why, like I said, this social media thing is a gift and a curse. I was in the office with Clarence Avant one day. There was a major songwriting producing partnership. They had just gone their separate ways. LA and Babyface go their separate ways, right? I'm in Clarence Avant's office. I'm having a meeting with Clarence Avant. Babyface calls, infuriated. He says to Clarence, he says, listen to me. How is it that LA's publishing deal is worth triple, damn near quadruple what my deal is? Everyone knows that I am the songwriter. I am the artist. I'm the one that does LA's drummer, but I am the writing. How is his publishing deal worth damn near 4 times what my deal is? Clarence Avon said something to him, and I'll never forget this day as long as I live. He said, listen to me, Kenny. This is Hollywood. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate. He said, I represent L.A. Reid. Who represents you? And he hung up the phone. Right? Because if you knew Clarence, you know how they call him the Black Godfather, but Clarence was no nonsense. He hung the phone up in his face. Right? But that is the lesson. So when we talk about these people going viral on the internet, yeah, you're right. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate. You tell some kid, here's $2 million. Hey, I'm not happy with $2 million, right? Average person would have been happy with $10 million. Mike Ovitz said, no, fuck that $10 million. I need $31 million for this. And that's my upfront. That ain't what's covering my cost. Do this shit. Okay. That's what I need to consult you, right? It's negotiation. So what you actually just said about Dave Chappelle is the same thing. He said, I'm being pumped and clipped. Don't watch my shit on Netflix and let me renegotiate my deal. I didn't get what I deserved the first time. I can be negotiated. You have to kiss some ass before you can kick some ass. Your first deal is probably going to be relatively shitty until you garner the ability to have respect. Okay? Here's a name you may not be able to use on this. Pharrell wrote Rump Shaker 100%. All I want to do is zoom, zoom, doom, doom, and a boom, boom. 100% Pharrell. But he was signed to, right? He
Yeah.
was signed to Teddy Riley at the time, right? Timbaland, Devontae Swing gave him the drum machine that was broken. Take this piece of shit. So when you hear Aaliyah, those first Aaliyah records with the beat stuttering, it's because the drum machine was fucked up. But this is what Devontae gave Timbaland,
Mm-hmm.
right? As a get out my face, little nigga. Fuck kind of shit, right? Now, Timbaland today, with all the Justin Timberlake, all the shit Timbaland has done, right? But again, you have to kiss some ass before you can kick some ass. Okay? Pharrell with Happy. right? We go all night to get lucky, not counting,
Mhm.
give me all that gushy stuff, all of that. His catalog is endless. He started, like I said, he wrote 100% of Rum Shit. It's his thing, completely his creation. However, at the time, he was not in the position that he now is in. You have, you're going to start because you don't have the cachet yet to be a Dave Chappelle, right? You don't have the cachet of a Taylor Swift who said Scooter Braun bought my catalog. So to all of my Taylor Swift fans, I don't want you buying my original records. I'm going to re-record my entire catalog, note for note. I'm going to re-record my shit and sell you the same shit that you already bought 90 million copies of, but this time I want you to buy it from me. It's the same shit. She re-recorded her entire catalog. AI, right? Artificial intelligence, right? Now, wrote that Always Coca-Cola theme back in 1992, right? The last two Christmases, Coca-Cola has been running a commercial from back in the day. Now, I love it. I'm still making royalties, so it's a beautiful thing for me.
Mhm.
The commercials are AI generated,
Yes, I saw that.
reimaginings.
Mhm.
Right. So they got a lot of backlash because people are going, hey, that AI looks really artificial. It doesn't look realistic. That was 2 Christmases ago. This past Christmas, they ran it again. The first year they only ran it for a limited time. This past Christmas, the AI got better, so they've run it again. So now here's the thing. It would sound very braggadocious and maybe overconfident of me to state the obvious. And like I said, we may cut this shit out the thing. But they haven't had a major campaign since then. So what do? They recapitulate the campaign from then, but instead of having to pay me recording cost, studio fee, all they're paying is my songwriter royalties because the actual content is AI generated, reimagined. All right? We have gone from you pitching your jingle to some ad agency to you being viral and trying to do it to the next thing is they will just AI some shit,
Yeah.
and we as humans will be obsolete, especially as creative entities, right? I've got an idea for a book. Here is the premise, right? Old saying, genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. That paradigm has shifted. Now, the idea is everything because there's no more perspiration. We are no longer going to be a nation of working people or a culture of working people. Now, if I have an idea, right? Give me a story of a basketball playing kid, prodigy, who has ties to a community that he rose above, right? His uncle is a bit of a fuck up. His mom's very realist. There's some Chinese motherfucking shoe sneaker company that does a thing, right? I don't have to fill in the fucking blanks. The AI will fill in the blanks, right? Now, to me, that is probably one of, if not, in my opinion, the greatest scripted series I've ever seen because it's so real, right? And I'm not just saying that because it's your shit, but I'm telling you that survivor's remorse, every person I've turned on to it, every person that's ever seen it, watch it go, wow, it's riveting. You are glued to that shit, right? I was the music editor for the Eve show. I saw every day those writers sitting in a writing room coming up with concepts, right? I can only imagine the shit you guys went to throwing while Uncle Julius, you know,
Yeah.
right? The sister. I can only imagine the thought process that went into something that is so intelligent
Mhm.
and real, because you think of all of the athletes, all of the musicians, all of the actors, all of the people who have come from a lesser beginning who have now have to feel like I would be an asshole if I denied the people that were there when I wasn't shit, even if those people ain't shit. And their own proclivities is what has prevented them of them rising, because everybody can't go when you go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But imagine, Ali, all you have to do is imagine the characters. You don't have to write Da Ching Bao, right? You don't have to write that the shoe falls apart or none of that bullshit when he's playing ball in it. You don't have to write, Chuck and the whole thing. You don't have to write. All you have to do is imagine the characters, and I will now populate your series for you. I will write your scripts for you.
Mm.
I don't need to write the jingle anymore. Tell me your idea, or rather in this case, show me what was the last man, I know I probably shouldn't say this. What was the last time Coca-Cola had a successful Christmas campaign? Oh, it was, always Coca-Cola back then. Okay, AI that shit and do it again. We don't have to pay those actors. We don't have to pay those musicians. We don't have to pay the directors. We don't have to pay. Oh, we will become a world of ideas, and the perspiration will no longer be necessary. I want to make a statement. Text my girl. Chat GBT, rewrite this for me in a way that may not rub her the wrong way. Rewrite this for me in a way that sounds more professional. Rewrite this in a way that sounds more simpish.
If what you're saying is true, and in a great many ways that it is, right? Content, not content creators, but creative directors and marketing, executives and whatever, they may be able to engage with people who can, sit at the computer, put some prompts in there, and bring out a piece of content that really does speak to an audience in a genuine way.
Mhm.
However, what they can't necessarily do, and Timberland would disagree, because what's his girl's name, Tilly, or is that the
The
actress?
AI
What was
Tilly.
yeah, what was it? Yeah, yeah. So and a black girl has done a AI kind of singer thing too. um
Number one
what
country song. Number one song on the country charts is AI.
what those personas create, and what the person has that is distinct from those created personas, is when it's actually a young woman from somewhere and people know who she is and they see her other content and whatever have you, whatever it is that she creates does become a story because it is human and they do know that it's real. And if people have a choice of things to connect to, they would rather connect with something real than something artificial.
Mm.
And so there are going to be a great many avenues and opportunities that are going to go away because there's a level of convenience and economics that says there's no reason why it shouldn't go away, right?
Mhm.
But there's another level of connectivity and humanity that sits atop that. And what these people need to understand, these young people on TikTok and elsewhere, is that you're going to have to find a way to elevate and excavate around your humanity,
Mhm.
because that is going to be the thing that has value. I'm a person, right? When Justin Bieber comes out in his underwear and plays a song, people are connecting to that moment because it's so human. It could
Right.
have been more bombastic. They could have filmed it on a location, but something raw and human about this guy that we've seen grow up, do this
Mhm.
thing in this way, connects with us,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
so I think that what we're going to understand that we have to lean into is A, the humanity part of it. And in the humanity part of it is B, you get what you negotiate, not what you deserve.
Hmm.
Right. And just not being again naive about what it is that you're trying to do and pretending that the clicks don't matter, or hoping for things that you can hope against hope may never come your way, because you simply don't know how this business works. And this is for the people who want in. This is not for your hobbyist. If you just got some clicks and you happy, more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if y'all out there wanting to have a career and a business and make a life and make some money, then this is shit you're going to need to understand about how to move through this world.
So yes, we got so much great information from John. I mean, so much I didn't know, and now I feel like we can move on to Ali's action pack, because I do feel like there are other things that the creators need to know about surviving
Well,
Hollywood. It
yeah. I mean,
requires a
before,
strategy.
before we race there, I just want to say, as you guys can clearly see, me and John go way back. We went to high school together.
Way back.
Yeah, and
Way
we're
back.
way back. We're two old guys, and I was laughing because while I was during the interview, I was laughing because John tells stories that are weaving from one thing to the next, and I was laughing because I do that. And Alisa sits there, she listens to me, and she wonders when I'm gonna bring it home.
When
And I
we're
was
going to
sitting
get
there
to the
listening.
point.
I was listening to John doing the same thing, going, "Oh, this is what it sounds like when you're talking to me." and,
It's
and the thing
because you
about
got
this
to
is
keep
like,
your face like neutral. Like, I'm still
I know,
listening. My
right? Just
listening
keep.
face. It's hard because sometimes you just be like, okay, all
But
right.
here's the thing, though. The thing about it is like the stories are actually great, but when you're on camera, you don't relax like you would relax if you were just listening to the story in a
Yeah.
room. You react and relax like you on camera. But no, John's got a billion
So many
stories,
stories.
and
We got to talk to him again because he has too many stories that we had time for in that segment
well,
for
John
sure.
wants us to. He explicitly said that he would love to maybe have another conversation at a different point in time with his writing partner Terry Coffey,
Hmm.
who was also in this high school.
Who
We go
didn't
back
go to this high
Chicago.
school?
It was a big high school. Steve Silk Hurley, really famous house music DJ, went there, and Lance Crowther, who was Pootie Tang, he went to
Was
that
it a
high school.
performance art high school?
It was a technical high school. I thought I was going to
Oh,
be an architect.
really?
Yeah, and it didn't work out. But I had architecture.
But
I
it
thought that
worked
that's what I
out.
was going
It
to do.
worked out. It
Yeah,
worked out how it was
but
supposed to work
it was
out.
a bunch of smart. Yeah, it did work out. A bunch of smart, talented kids. So it was very cool. So yeah, we'll get to that later. Action pack. Listen, my action pack. What's my action pack? This one's brief. It literally is before you create content that is to promote somebody else's work. If there's a way to protect it, register it, understand what the nature of the IP is that you're creating, and secure whatever your authorship is. And then if someone reaches out to you and they're excited about collabing with you or partnering with you, don't be impressed or excited because someone wants to work with you. Either get a lawyer immediately, or I'm serious, so get on Chat GPT and go, they said this. What should I be doing? What should I be looking out for? And it's not going to come back with perfect answers, but what AI does do now is that it is a functional source of guidelines of what to do in a circumstance where you don't even know what a commercial jingle is worth. So you can Google an AI and maybe go, hey, what's similar to what I just did, and how much did that person get paid, and then John's, you got to kiss some ass before you kick some ass. At least kind of know, like, what's my weight class here? Am I punching up? Am I punching down? Or am I punching straight across? And so do yourself that favor and get educated before you just hop on TikTok and hop on these trends and start generating money for these people, because you could be letting fucking money that could be in your bank account is now in somebody else's,
Hmm.
and you're going to be upset. I keep saying that I've never seen it not be the case. If you create some shit and it's original and it catches on and somebody else does it, you're going to be mad. So don't pretend like you don't care. be educated, research, create, have fun, do all of that. But make it so that you have to be engaged in a meaningful way in the event that this shit hits. And if you're just a hobbyist and you just want to sing jingles and whatever happens, happens, then go ahead, have your fun. I'm not talking to you.
Love that. That was brief. I didn't know you had that in you. Succinctness.
Well, I was listening to John talk so much. I was like, we can't both do this
So
today.
yeah, so John,
It's not
thank
enough mics to
you.
go.
So what are we watching this week? Are you watching anything cool this week?
Listen, I I made a discovery, and I was so happy because you know how I told you I just be watching black stuff and checking
Yes.
around to see what I can find, and so I clicked over to Amazon. Oh, because I was watching whatchamacallit, relationship goals. Did I tell you I watched relationship
Yes.
goals?
Yes, we had a whole conversation about relationship goals with the
Okay, so
selling of the
so I was
book.
watching relationship goals, and then I was clicking around, so I saw this little, one of the little icons, thumbnails or whatever, said Diara from Detroit.
Okay, yeah. You
I'm like,
never heard
what's
of that
that?
show? Really?
Never heard of it. No idea. So I was like, Diara from Detroit. Now
It's a,
there was another show right next to it that is like from Tubi or something, or maybe it's on Amazon. It's like two girls like Candy and Cream or something like that.
I
They're
don't think I heard of
criminals or
that one.
whatever.
Okay.
It's not as polished as Diara from Detroit.
No,
Is
DR
all
is
I'll
from
tell
good.
you.
That's a good show.
It's not good. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. So here's the thing. Like first of all, I typically hate voiceovers. Like if I turn something on and I hear a voiceover, I get that shit like 30 seconds to go if because people typically do not know how to use voiceovers well. They use them very poorly. And so I'm listening to the Diara voiceover like you got about 30 seconds before I'm out. And this shit was clever, and she flipped it, and then I got kind of pulled in, and then the titles came up and they had all this kind of style,
Mm-hmm.
real pulp fiction, comic pulp magazine kind of lettering. And then I started watching, and the shit was clever, it was funny, it was well written, the girl is fucking fantastic, Diara. And it was down to uh the colors. Like the production design on this show is fucking fantastic. Just like watching the colors, the way they sit inside a scene, the way they work with
Yeah.
each other, and it kind of landed in this space where I was like, "Oh, this is like, at like Atlanta, and they cloned Tyrone, right?" And it just had this really rich mix, and it was world building, like it was its own place. Detroit is a character.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the people dress like they dress, the fur, the hats and shit, like I'm just like I can't tell you how fucking much I love Diara from Detroit. So I was binge watching, and then it just got better because when I saw Ernest Thomas on there, because I love Ernest Thomas. He was on Everybody Hates Chris. He did Mr. Omar. He goes all the way back to What's Happening. He was Raj, and then he was in fucking was he in he was in Malcolm X doing a little bit part, but I forget what movie I was watching from a long time ago. But Ernest Thomas has been around forever. Lovely guy, fantastic actor, funny as shit. But in this show, he did a thing that I was really happy to see, which was he was just grounded and had charm as an actor, and I loved seeing him treated with what I considered such respect and regard. When we had Clarence Williams III on Everybody Hates Chris, we had him one episode. He was amazing. And I was just glad to see Ernest treating like that. Then I look at his fucking Felicia Rashad's on there playing playing this shady woman. I can't. She was. I'm laughing when Felicia Rashad pulled a gun on somebody. It's like there's nothing about Diara from Detroit that I do not like. I love a fucking Morris Chestnut's in that shit. And like I couldn't believe it. Like I don't know how it ended up on
I
BET
can't
Plus.
believe you didn't hear about it though. Like, well, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how it
I've
ended up
been
there
working.
either. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I've
no,
been
it's
very
been.
busy. I've been in the trenches and whatever, and then I don't look around,
You don't. So do you feel like when
and
you
it's not
do you feel like
promoted.
it shouldn't go?
Didn't
Yeah, yeah, not as much. I mean, because it's on BET Plus. You feel like it shouldn't be there. Should it be someplace else?
Well, no, I don't think that I think that it absolutely should be there. I think if this is what BET was capable of doing, and if they can do more of that, I would love to fucking be in business with BET. This shit was brilliant, and I think it was the street they went down. What was that show they did with Dion Cole? Um,
Yeah. Um.
you know the name
Yeah, I
of
know
it.
exactly what you're talking about though.
Dion Cole BET
BET.
show.
Average Joe.
Average Joe. And so it's like, they're headed in a direction, and I don't know, maybe it's got something to do because who's over there? That's come on, that's Dion, not Dion. It's Kenya, Rashida Jones,
Mhm.
and my man from SWAT. They're the BET studio kind of deal they have. Let me see. I'm gonna get their names right. BET studio. All right, Kenya Barris, Rashida Jones, and Aaron
Mhm.
Rasan Thomas.
Yeah.
If they're the brain trust that's kind of behind this, it's really exciting to see, and I love that for BET. It is what I wish they could always do
Yeah.
because this show is fucking good, and I think that it is a tragedy. It's a travesty. It's a travesty that it is not being mentioned in the same breath as Abbott, as Insecure, as Atlanta. Like in my mind, it's that fucking good. So I'm watching DR from Detroit. I hear they just got a season 2,
Yeah,
so
they
I'll be
got a
looking out
season
for that.
2. Yeah, they do.
And maybe they will send me a merch box with little fur. Give me a little fur collar. Oh, you know what other show I watch? There's a show. Is it Ready to Love? Ready for Love? Ready to Love?
Oh, Ready to Love. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Reality.
this
They're in
season
Detroit. And
they're in Detroit.
the furs are
Right, and there's a
crazy.
right, and there's a guy like all of the guys have super manicured beard. I'm gonna get me one of them
Yeah.
dark manicured beards. I'm gonna dye all of this
With the you know,
black.
get you the fox fur.
Right, and I'm gonna get me a fur, and I don't know if I could talk about women that are dressing like that, but yeah. So
The men had to me the men had better furs than the women on this season of Ready to Love.
yeah, because it's Detroit.
Yeah, what
Detroit.
up though? What up though? I have some great friends from Detroit. But no, that's funny that you mentioned unscripted because I was watching a lot of unscripted this week. I mean, Love is Blind is back, Love Island is on. So I kind of dived into all of that. And because I did unscripted product development for the last 2-3 years at a network. And it's just interesting when you're producing a scripted show versus a unscripted show, rather developing. It's the storyline with the scripted show. You have to create it and figure out the arc and all that stuff, and then you sell the show. With unscripted, you have your general premise of how you think it's going to go, your format. The show is created in the casting. It's all about who you're putting together, and you're doing background checks, you're doing mental evaluations, so you can find out who's crazy and how you can exploit it, basically,
You
and how
could find out.
that is what, like, I like to watch the messy controversial shows, which is interesting because the network I worked for was not messy or controversial, so we had to do
Okay.
the opposite of what a lot of our background was and what reality show we typically watch to find the safest
You're like,
routes.
we're trying to find sane people
Same
who
people.
want to be on
Clean
reality TV.
clean backgrounds, and that's harder. It's harder because you find really great people, and then you find out they did OnlyFans, not for that network, like so. But certain networks, that's fine. Like, oh, they did OnlyFans, bet, bring them on. Oh, they got a background, criminal background, sure, come on. And it's like it's all about how can we exploit that. And so, I last night was watching the America's Next Top Model documentary that's out on Netflix right
Yeah.
now, and it's all about, which I loved America's Next Top Model. I watched every 20 seasons of it faithfully. And at the time in the 2000s when I was watching it, it didn't seem problematic to me whatsoever. But people
Right.
rewatched it during COVID, and now all of a sudden everything they're seeing on it is like, oh my gosh, like how dare they? And so they're doing it from the lens of the people who were casted on the show. And now that I'm looking at the documentary, I'm like, okay, I see what these producers were doing. They were exploiting a lot of things that these girls were going through. They had sort of this documentary style where they're following every single thing that these models are going through. And it's very similar to how reality shows are done in general. We know in the process of developing the show, if this person's not going to get along with this person, if this person might like this person, we know that, oh, this person maybe is not the most mentally stable to handle this circumstance. And a lot of
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
they are casted anyway because that's good TV. Like Love is
Right.
Blind, there was all this criticism last season because they had a young man on there that may not fully be aware of
That
his
dude that was spazzing out.
the I'm
That
nice,
motherfucker.
that guy.
He was
Yes.
crying one day. Then he was firm the next. Then he
Something
turned.
was
I think
something was
gave him
like
a.
yes, what was his name? They Mr. Nice Guy is what everybody started calling him. But you know exactly what I'm talking about, the one with the pick in his head and stuff like that. And there was a mental lack of capacity, I think, to handle the pressure of that sort of circumstance, which you would know going into it. In the casting, you are doing that mental evaluation. You were doing that background check. You're looking into his history with the breakdown of his mother and looking at it and saying, "Ooh, let's bring his mother in. I think that'll be a great scene,"
So
knowing what that
is
could
that
possibly
like
do to him.
is that like when you watch like back in the day we'd be watching American Idol or one of them, and then you get one of them people that get up there in front of Randy and whoever. Is that they got the voice now? And a couple of those
Well,
shows are
when they
still on.
pick the people that can't sing, like, are
Well,
horrible to
yeah,
embarrass
and the
them.
question, right, and the question you have is, how did you get from the middle of Oklahoma all the way out to Los Angeles in front of us, not being able to sing but believing that you could? And then they put that on TV so that people like me can go, how the fuck did this happen?
But there's a team of
And
producers that are telling you, like, I think you'd be great, knowing you're not, because you're going to see producers before you even get to Randy. You're singing for somebody, and they're realizing
yeah,
how bad you are, and they're like, this person is perfect. Let's
it's
lock
gonna be
that in because
good.
we want that's gonna be
Right.
good. That's gonna be embarrassing for them. That's gonna be great for us. And so when I watch reality, why I enjoy it so much, it's just almost like this evil mastermind that you kind of have to be as a producer, especially when it's controversial reality, to think about, ooh, how can I make these housewives really fight? How can I, pour enough liquor with these young people in this house to make drama ensue? And I love it as I watch it faithfully. But it is also, when I watched this documentary, I felt a little bit of guilt knowing that I've been on the other side of the curtain with the development of reality, also knowing I'm a consumer who loves the reality, who's feeding back into the system. And I'm like, am I a part of the problem? I'm exploiting these people too, I guess.
Yes. You are part of
I
the
am the
problem.
problem.
I've been meaning to speak to you about this.
But it's
Listen,
so
I understand
good.
that I understand that you need a job in this business. I understand that you have hopes and dreams. I know that you came here with a pure spirit and a good heart, but you have crossed over to the dark side and you have determined that these people will watch anything and you're going to give it to them.
Hollywood will suck it out of you, man. You gotta be careful.
No, they don't suck it out of you. They allow it to. Hollywood is a fertile ground for whatever fucking brand of
Madness.
something beyond the pale, because it's a business of making shit up and trying to get the most out of fucking ideas, whatever will work. And some people don't have a problem when somebody grabs a bottle and runs across the table. When Diddy, this is the second time I'm bringing him up in
Yeah.
this podcast. This is the last time was maybe like a more positive example, and this one
Okay.
is a less positive example, but not as unpositive as it could get.
Okay. So
Uh,
it's not a
this
bottle
was
of baby
about
oil
the
then.
yeah. There's a bottle involved in this one, but there's no oil in it. There's
Okay.
champagne in this bottle,
Okay.
and allegedly he there was an incident with him and Steve Stout, and he was angry, and there was a bottle involved, and it was reported in the press. You can go look that up. However, when I saw Evelyn Lozado in the early seasons of Basketball Wives running across a table with a bottle, and I thought, this is just like Diddy, except he there was charges brought up and they had to get
And this
lawyers
one,
and
this is
all
good
kinds of shit.
TV.
And right, and then they're just like, this is good TV. We need more of that. And so yeah, it's just the the desire of people to be on and to be seen
Mhm.
and to get that attention is great. And whether it is in viral ads or in reality shows, what people will give up of themselves for that dopamine rush of being seen is great. And so sometimes a guy that does not belong on TV because he has some things that he should probably address ends up on television, and all of that's exposed for the world to see. And if he melts down and has to bail off the show or whatever it is, that's good TV too.
Mhm.
And then you have the other side where there are people who are clearly there to attempt to manipulate the system. They know that, I could get viral out of this, so I'm going to pretend to be this thing.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's a
you have
whole bunch
that
of people
too.
in fucking rooms pretending to be just realistic enough so that another group of people will watch them.
Yeah, the whole chasing clout. But I feel like we are so smart as an audience that I can tell when someone is not being genuine. And I'm more drawn to the characters online that are just authentically themselves versus the ones that, are trying to find their footing or find their way up through it. But it was hard because a lot of these America's Next Top Model, to go back to that doc, women, they're not modeling now. They look completely different than what they looked. You're seeing the women come on the dock, and it's like, who was that? And you see what they look like back then as a model. It's
Right.
like these women are not modeling now. They didn't gain any sort of notoriety from this show. They didn't end up being next top models or whatever, and they are broken. They're broken, and
Yeah.
it makes me feel bad because I watched it and I loved every moment of it. And so yes, there's you got the producers and towers on this documentary and everything like that, and they're not fully holding themselves accountable. They're kind of passing the blame. But meanwhile, you got this woman that felt like everything I went through at 19, 20 was completely exploited by reality TV. And it's now for the world to watch over and over again. I have no control over it. I have no nothing, but they signed up willingly to chase this dream. It was a great documentary. I'm still working my way through it. It's about 4 episodes, I think. But I felt a sense of guilt because I know I've been on that other side of the curtain where it is about figuring out how you can exploit people to benefit
Well,
this
I
show.
mean, it's twofold. What's my isn't wasn't is her name Yaya DaCosta? Isn't that
Yeah, yeah. So she did
wasn't she
her
on
and
that show?
Eva. Yeah, both of them really made
Eva
something out of that.
Marcel, whatever, she was on
Mm-hmm.
there. I think I had her on the episode of Everybody Hates Chris. Eva Marcel. And yeah, Yaya DaCosta, I know I've seen her and some stuff. Well, here's the thing. When you do these competition based shows, you know, it says America's Next Top Model, singular. It does not say models, plural.
Oh wow,
So
it doesn't.
this is model, singular.
Model.
American Idol, singular. And so after all of this shit, one person is somehow able to make it through all of this, and they have the opportunity to see if they can scale it into something even larger still. So these people are going through these shows and they're coming out the other end. If they're termed a winner or whatever it is, all that does is brings you to the point where if this show didn't exist, this is still the place where you'd be starting. You'd have to get past all of these other potential rivals in the field to become the one that they selected. You just did it on television. But in reality, you would have had to have done a version of all of those things anyway
Yeah,
in order to get the contract or the deal or the campaign or whatever it is. But we've pulled back the curtain, so we show all the behind the scenes, and everybody don't make it. Everybody don't make it. Janelle James is on Abbott, but a lot of people auditioned for that role. They
yeah.
didn't get it. And they had a wide variety of skills and a certain type of attention. And if you filmed that, they would be like, yeah, we went through the whole thing and I didn't even get on the show. No, the motherfucker that was good got on.
Yeah,
The
and I
person
think
that could endure the business stays on.
yes, and I think that the only thing that they are mad about or upset about at this point is because yes, as an actor, you go through a lot of things, or in to try to get into this industry, you go through things that would be embarrassing for someone to have a recording of to play back. I wouldn't like it. This is why I've never signed up for reality programming. And so them signing up and then the camera sort of following. There was one instance where the one girl was actually sexually abused on camera and they kept the film rolling. and used it in an episode. And I remember that. And at the time, I don't think I recognized what that episode was. And now I get back and I hear her perspective of I was so drunk, I was so drunk, I was blacked out. The cameras were rolling the entire time. They caught the entire thing, they cut it up, and then they forced me to call my boyfriend so that I can, tell him that I cheated on him while I was in Milan on a model go see and whatever. And the whole time, I wasn't aware of my surroundings. I wanted the producers to step in. The producers weren't allowed to step in. When I hear her side of the story, I'm just like, oh, what I thought was a really spicy episode on America's Next Top Model is really this really scary thing that I'm like, oh, so you allowed this woman to be, sexually abused on camera for the purposes of your show. That's
Well,
that's like,
I cannot attempt to defend the intentions of the producers of the material. I'm not doing that. What I do want to suggest or offer is that for the casual viewer, somebody who's just at home and they're hearing these stories told in retrospect, when you have hindsight is 2020 and the climate around personal engagement and what the consequences are and the ramifications and the responsibilities and all of these things, it's very difficult to take what you understand now about how something might have gone
mhm.
and try to apply that retroactively to a circumstance that came about in an entirely different type of environment, right? And so it's not to suggest that it was correct, but it is to say that in that environment, if you're coming out of the Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, everybody's on TV and fighting and drinking and doing wild shit to be on, and everybody's happy and they got their ass out and they shaking in the house with all the girls and all of these things that people are doing, putting themselves into these scenarios, and everybody is pushing towards the fence, right? They're trying to see how far is too far. What can we get away with? And so there's a complicitness in the sense that all of the people are wanting to be engaged in this, and to the extent to which they could be exposed in a way or made to be vulnerable in a way that they didn't expect, set against the desire of the producers or the creators to create something that's
Mhm.
going to go viral or something that's going to catch a lot of eyeballs. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have disasters that resulted from that, is not shocking. So whether it is parents or manipulative adults dealing with children in Nickelodeon and how
Mm.
they coerce or suggest or try to, cajole young actors into doing things that might be inappropriate or edgy or whatever it is. And yeah, and you're wanting to be in it. You're not sure where the line is. They're not sure where the line is.
Yeah.
They don't actually, in a lot of instances, I think these people don't believe that they're doing anything actionable or criminal. They just think they're pushing. I didn't do
Yeah.
nothing. I just said, try this. I just let
Because
the camera keep rolling.
exactly, because in that case, it's like, well, you drank on your own and you actively flirted with the
I
guy on
didn't.
your own.
You knew you
I'm
was on
just
camera when you
right.
started drinking.
And it is you do cajole in a bit with your words. You make suggestions. You might fuel the conversation, like, oh, she said this about you in the confessional, so now you saying something back. Yes, but we don't actually put the bottle in your hand. So there can be this whole feeling of like, I'm not
The
necessarily
plausible
involved. Yeah,
deniability
yeah,
is
yeah.
what they call it.
But I do think you got to be a special type of, something to produce some of these shows. And now, mind you, I'm not saying this to come at anybody because I've worked in unscripted myself, but also, and I watch them and I don't want the shows to stop at all,
Yeah, you're part of the
but
problem.
I
You you
don't.
you said
I
earlier.
am, but I watched a documentary and I felt bad, and it did make me think twice, But I am part of the problem because I love Bravo, I
Well,
love
you know
my
what? Well,
housewives,
here's the
I
bullshit,
love.
and this is what I'm saying. Here's the bullshit, and I think this is what it is 100%. And I've said this before to you that reality shows, for all intents and purposes, replaced soap operas.
Mm,
Right, the type of conflict in the interpersonal stories and the contained worlds in which they operate is the exact same template as soap operas.
Yeah, my grandma
Conflicting,
used
clashing.
to. She used to watch
Yes,
soap operas from 12 to 4 every day. And I'm like, and I used to not get it. I am her now. I am her. It's
you're
just
her now,
Real
right? You're her.
Housewives, Love is Blind, Love Island. Like, I am
But
her.
she was a functional innocent. Unlike you, she was not part of the problem. So here's the thing though. When you're writing that on purpose, going, this is a fiction. The place is called General Hospital, or it's Santa Barbara, or All My Children, or One Life to Live, or whatever the fuck it is. We made up some people. We made up a place, and these people do mean, diabolical shit to each other. And then somebody goes, we don't have to waste time with all of that writing. We could just take 5 motherfuckers that don't like each other and put them in a room, and the show writes itself. And then they do it, and they do it, and they do it again, and they put them in San Francisco, and they put one in Santa Barbara, and they put somebody in Cleveland, they put somebody in DC, they repurpose the formula, and they go, ooh, those are regular housewives. What if the wives were of sports people? Which sport? All of them. What about other businesses? Hip hop, yes.
The
Let's
show
get them too.
creates itself. Yeah, it
Let's
just
get
creates
all the
itself.
fucking, and it creates themselves. We throw people in the room, they fight with each other, they do mean shit. They go viral. Somebody gets a thing. That one girl, the basketball wife, she made a porn video.
Which one?
Mimi.
Oh.
Mimi. On the
Oh yeah, the shower curtain. Wait, you talk about that's hip hop, Love and Hip Hop.
Whatever it is, I don't know.
I was like, you talk about the shower rod. Yes, we
The
do.
shower, right? But I'm just saying that whatever it was about the nature of the show and the experience, she thought it was a good idea to take this a step further. And guess what? I don't know that it's damaged her in any material way, and I'm not suggesting that it should have. I'm just saying that, when that becomes where the line is, Paris Hilton then was like, oh my God, they got a sex tape. And he was like, get the fuck out of the way. Watch this.
Nowadays, sex tapes are profitable. And there's different lines to levels to reality, because you got Zeus and the baddies down there. That's reality. And then you got maybe the upper echelon, the traitors.
And it's all
Emmy Award
contingent
winning.
upon it's all contingent upon people behaving badly and willing to show that.
Yes,
on
just
camera.
Different ways. Yeah. But I will say this, I'm not a part of the problem, because the network I worked for was not producing controversial reality shows. We were producing very family friendly. I worked for Hallmark, so we were producing very family friendly content. So no, I was not a part of the problem, but I do watch all the best.
Clearly you've never heard of Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Listen, and I hated saying that, and it was funny to me, but that is one of the tragedies in my life. All right,
You all right?
I mean, you don't like to see people who you have revered, be revealed to be something less than what you thought you were revering. Like you. Just when we started this podcast, I had a very high opinion. You turns out you're out there fueling, this behavior with your watching these shows, and I don't know what to think about you now.
Come on,
Alisa.
now. You were watching Ready to Love this week.
I was today years old when I found out you were part of the problem.
Okay, well, I'll take it.
I don't know what to think.
I'll take it. Well, listen, this has been another great show of In the Room, where culture meets Hollywood. Yes, make sure you're liking, following, subscribing. If you've been here this long, you must like.
Thank you to my friend Jon Nettlesby.
Yes,
and we'll maybe depending, we might take that piece and show you like a longer version of it.
Yeah, an extended version.
So for y'all people who really like hearing long stories from old friends. And y'all, and Alisa, thank you for being an audience to that.
We should put like old stories on Patreon just behind the paywall for all those that want to listen. You want to listen to them ramble? Yeah, pay for that behind the paywall.
Unlike the mayhem that you create by diving into those reality shows, they would say sitting there and engaging and listening to these two old guys that you're doing God's work. That's what somebody would say.
What if someone made a reality
maybe
show?
Maybe we'll put that on a commercial for Jesus.
Listen, try them, okay?
Come do God's work. Try Jesus.
What if they did a reality show, just a bunch of old guys in the house talking about old stories? I wonder how that one would do.
Shout out to Toby Nwigwe. Try Jesus. Don't try me, because I throw hands. Y'all go check that out.
Yes, and watch some commercials, y'all.